Now if it's a party, I know I slide through. Ain't why me shine with no dime.
Yes,
Slide through. I keep it real, I don't lie. Slide through.
Happening.
It's a party.
Team,
I
it's
know
your
I
boy
slide
Blakberry.
through. Why me
This is the
shine
Red
with
Pit.
no
It's
dime.
Thursday night. You know what that means.
Elevator high. When I slide through, I keep it real, I don't lie. When I slide through, step up in this bitch like I'm 10 feet high. Ho, I'm just outstanding. That mean that I can't lie. I got the green next to me, call that shit a standby. It ain't one beat kill that a nigga won't fry.
We got a conversation to have, a continuation of a conversation from yesterday, and we're going to talk some real good shit about the Atlanta Falcons. Want to thank everybody for coming through. If you're new to the channel, you know what time it is. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make it do what it do. Hit that share button, all that good stuff. Y'all know what it is. Who we got in the building, man? Got Deshaun Carswell in the building, Jay Holland in the building, Jonte Rozier in the building from Northern Nevada. Ooh, boy, you be safe up there in them Nevada hills, boy. D. Coleman in the house. What's up with you, D. Coleman? Got 3 Duddy in the building. One of the OGs in the game. What's up with you, 3 Duddy? What's happening, man? Southside in the house. What's up with you, Southside? So this is what I'm thinking about, y'all. Let me tell y'all what's on my mind. I'm thinking about dropping that link for y'all tonight. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Ain't made mine up yet, but I just might do it. What's up with you, Larry? What's up with you, Dre Murphy? Murphy, the one and only. What's up with you, Dre Murphy? Georgia, Texas, boy. What's happening with you, Georgia, Texas, boy? What's happening, my boy? Think about dropping that link. Falcon fans. Oh, you all never cease to amaze me. I'm gonna keep this a buck with everybody right now. I didn't have a day, okay? Got to go spend some money I didn't want to spend. It happens. Got folks calling about money. It happens. And when you have such type situations as your boy Blakberry is having today, you want sometimes to tune in to the regularly scheduled programming and hear some a little bit authentic, some a little bit different. You want to hear something other than what you always fucking hear. You want depth when you tune in to the regularly scheduled programming. We're not getting depth. This is what I'm gonna give you. This is what I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you authentic. I'm gonna give you depth. The title of today's show: Atlanta Falcon fans, there's no need to fear. Under fan is here. For all my underdog fans, I'm kind of Let me tell you where my inspiration for the night come from. So on the Lockness podcast, was it Lock? I think it was on Lock podcast earlier this week on Atlanta Falcon Nation channel. Y'all make sure y'all go check out the Lockness podcast and be sure to subscribe to my boy channel. We were talking about underdog and actually no, that was Coach Unchained show. Apologies, that was last week. Coach Unchained show. Sometimes my mind goes into a vortex. But we was talking about cartoons and all that good shit. My inspiration for tonight comes from the make-believe ideology of some of the fan base. And it makes me question credibility of some takes that I hear. It makes me question motives. The propaganda that's being spread amongst the fan base through conversations of the typical grandeur that you do not necessarily want to hear, but it's being forced on you. And there becomes a constant to where you feel like if you're not talking about it, then something must not be right about the conversation. What we need to be talking about more is what the Falcons are capable of doing, what the Falcons are more likely to do. What is it that we are expecting from the Falcons? Yesterday's show on Let's Be Clear, I talked about how we are in a sense of urgency in this franchise to win now for many reasons. The reason I highlighted the most yesterday on Let's Be Clear was because that the franchise is 60 years old and ain't won a motherfucking thing. That's what I chose to highlight yesterday. What I'm going to highlight today is this. Your sophomore quarterback is in his rookie deal in his sophomore season. He is cooped with a number one receiver, a dynamic backfield, a number two receiver, a slot receiver, and a badass offensive line. But some would have you believe that the holes in the Atlanta Falcons are still too questionable. There's still not enough to go off of. We still don't have the coaching staff to do what the Falcons should be capable of doing with the personnel that they have on offense. Well, when we talk about defense, we talk about, well, what you got? You got staples. You got AJ Terrell, you got Jesse Bates, you got Mike Hughes. Those are staples in the secondary. And if we are going to adopt an identity somewhere on this football team, you would think it would be adopted from that of the head coach, who is a defensive-minded coach, who is a defensive backs specialist. So if you have staples like AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates and Mike Hughes, then you have a base. You have a core on defense. To some, that might sound a bit unorthodox because a core typically you would think is established in the middle. a solid middle linebacker, a stout defensive line. So if your core is not there, then in the secondary unit, then something isn't right. Well, we're talking about identity. We're talking about establishing and adopting identity from somewhere where it has to be put in place. Your coach, your head coach, he sent a message that is going under the radar, that is being overlooked as something that was wrong, something that wasn't right, something that wasn't just in the firing of Jimmy Lake. Well, it's solely based off of feelings, perception. Why? Jimmy Lake, the fall guy. Jimmy Lake, the real culprit or the victim in Raheem Morris's diabolical scheme to wait till Jeff Ulbrich was available. So, back to what I was saying. Sorry, my son, man. These children, boy, these children. The culprit was Jimmy Lake. And a lot of people's not the culprit was Jimmy Lake. The culprit was Raheem Morris. Jimmy Lake was an innocent bystander in all of this, and he shouldn't be your fall guy for all of this. What you feel and what you think you know isn't always what is. Jimmy Lake went in front of the press after the bye week, after the adjustments were made to the pass rush scheme, and he credited that to Raheem Morris. When he did that, as I've said before, he wrote his ticket out of Atlanta. How was that significant to what I'm explaining to you? I will tell you. You're trying to establish an identity. You're trying to embody what you want to embody that of a Falcon. I explained yesterday. Julia Bennett, high school teacher in the 1960s, won a contest to name the Atlanta football team, the new Atlanta football team, the Falcons, by issuing an essay explaining that a Falcon is proud and dignified with courage and fight. And also in that essay, she described what a falcon does. A falcon doesn't release its prey. A falcon glides the air, swoops down, gathers its prey, and relentlessly takes hold of it without letting it go. And when without letting it go means it's ruthless, ferociousness. But in order to do such a task, you have to be fast and swift. We've always liked to be a fast defense. But we lose that focus a lot when we hire and fire coaches, and the coaches that we hire are now offensive coaches or defense. And then the next firing, we hire a defensive coach, and the next firing and an offensive. There's no consistency there. There's an identity crisis with this football team over the last 60 years, an identity crisis that Raheem Morris I believe, after firing Jimmy Lake, is determined to change. He doesn't want there to be an identity crisis any longer in Atlanta because Jimmy Lake told on himself that he's incapable of helping establish this identity. Because for all of those that question, well, why did the Falcons play so far off the ball? Why did the defense play so far off the ball? No. We wasn't getting enough sacks. Well, I'm telling you that we got those turnovers, those interceptions, those punches at the ball to cause fumbles and get fumble recoveries because we were attacking the ball. And in doing so, you increase your chances at getting turnovers. What you want is for your front to generate pressure and to create even more opportunity for those turnovers to take place. Well, we weren't getting the pressure in the middle to be able to do that. So something had to be changed at some point. And when Raheem Morris, who's a defensive back specialist, when he makes the adjustments for the pass rush to generate more pressures and get more sacks, he accomplishes that. But Jimmy Lake, he told you it was because of Raheem Morris. The secondary started looking bad. Now we can't get turnovers. Now we're looking lost in coverages. Now we're having coverage breakdowns. All of a sudden, the secondary unit doesn't look like it's there. Now something's different. Something's wrong with the defense again because the adjustments, they got you sacks, they got you pressures, but it didn't work because now you're giving up too much over the top. Now you're giving up big plays. Well, we got to be able to do both. And because after the adjustments, we weren't able to do both, what that told me was that Jimmy Lake is the true culprit. His responsibility was to make sure we get those pressures. Let's not disturb the secondary game plan at attacking the ball. Let's get the pressures we need with the front. But we weren't capable of doing that. So even after the adjustments, did they really work, or did they just give you what you were looking for in sacks as a fan base? Because they didn't work. We still gave up way too much. And Joseph Texas, boy, you're absolutely right. Mike Hughes did get hurt, and they did start picking at D. Alford. They started picking at everybody on that side of the field. The identity was being established, and the identity being established was disrupted because of the inability to have a good coverage unit as well as a good pass rush. And in doing so, somebody has to be put out to pasture. Well, that's what lets me know that Raheem Morris is trying to embody what it is to be a Falcon. Because how can you truly be a protector of the skies, a warrior of the skies, if anybody can come in your house and eat you alive in the passing game? We want to be a secondary group that is going to be stout and sound and not give up anything. But we have to do it up front as well. If you're giving up chunk yards in the middle of the field in the running game, You don't even get the opportunity to pass rush. I did not watch the interview with Arthur Blank. I didn't watch it. I understand from some reports that I saw that he mentioned the Kirk Cousins conversation and that he admitted that Kirk did ask for a release. I've read the report on that. Well, not read the report on that specifically. I've seen that be commented about, but I haven't seen the report on that he did admit that Kirk Cousins asked for a release. Yesterday's conversation, yesterday's show on Let's Be Clear. This is what that was all about. Was why do we care? We don't have time to care. We don't have time to care about Kirk Cousins being some kind of figure in the dark. The boogeyman. We didn't got time to care about that. We don't got time to care about him not being truthful. I'm gonna tell y'all something. When it happened to you, that's when you care the most about it. But players lie about their injuries all the time. They lie about being hurt all the time. He ain't did nothing that a lot of y'all favorite players ain't done before. They've all lied about being hurt. Who cares? You care so much because he lied and threw 7 interceptions or 8 straight, went through 8 interceptions without a touchdown being thrown over the course of 4 games, and he was just suck. So that's why you care. That's why you care so much. And you want Raheem Morris to be held accountable more so than anything because he's the head coach. He should have made the call for him to get set. Let me ask y'all something. If the majority of you were saying that you didn't expect much out of this season anyway, why do you care? You didn't expect much out of the first season with Raheem Morris as the head coach. You didn't expect much with a first-year play calling offensive coordinator. You didn't expect much out of Kirk Cousins coming off of a torn Achilles and being a statuesque quarterback already as it is, and he come after having a torn Achilles the year before. You didn't expect much anyway, so why do you care? I'm going to tell you why. Because some of you tell bold-faced fucking lies. You talk out both ends of your ass. That's why you care. Because you're liars. You claim that this team wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough to compete. It wasn't good enough to win a playoff game. It wasn't good enough to win a Super Bowl. So why do you care that Kirk Cousins lied about his injuries? If they weren't good enough, why do you care? Why do you care that Raheem Morris didn't take him out sooner? Why do you care? Because you did have faith or hope that this team would have been good enough to compete in his first year with Raheem Morris as head coach. In the first year with Kirk Cousins as the quarterback, you saw hope. because you saw a 6-3 team that looked like they were a legitimate 6-3 football team. There was no, you saw what I saw. They didn't trip and fall into 6-3. They were a legitimate 6-3. You tell lies. We could have easily had been 3-6 just as well as we were 6-3. Teams got to win close games. It's part of the damn game. A play or two here or there, anything could have happened. It could have went another way. That's part of the game. Every team in the NFL, all 32 teams, guess what? They're going to experience that more so than not. They get lucky. Somebody drops a wide open pass. They get lucky. Somebody gets overthrown and they were wide open. They get lucky and a team gets a turnover and they turn the ball right back over in the same sequence. It's a part of the game. But you care so much about Falcons winning close games because you want to have something to have a gripe about. You need your lies to hold up. But you don't lie because just to be lying, you lie out of fear. You're afraid to say what you really think. You're afraid of your analysis of a team. You're afraid of your analysis of a player. You'll go out on a limb and say this, that, and the other about guys that a lot of people don't talk about because, well, if you never hear this person's name again, nobody was talking about him anyway besides me, so nobody's going to fucking remember. Well, I remember. A lot of fans remember that pay attention. Georgia's Texas boy, he pays attention. I can tell you that right now. It's a lot of fans that pay real close attention to your lies. You can hide behind this and you can think that nobody's really paying attention to the lies. I know better. You care a lot more than what you say you care. You will say you don't care. You care because you saw that Kirk Cousins at 6-3 with this football team before that Saints game. He was looking like he had got his shit together. So when he goes on this crazy fucking damn cliff, he just goes the fuck off the damn cliff. That's the prime opportunity for you to go hollering at Raheem Morris so your lies can be covered and masked. I have no intention of putting anybody on blast, but I'm going to tell you straight like this. The depth has to become a thing amongst the content creators, the media. I'm tired of hearing the same bullshit. I'm hearing lies. I stand on what the fuck I say. I told y'all when the news broke that they were getting Kirk Cousins, I told you, why the fuck are we doing that? He's statuesque and he's 12 years in the game and he's coming off a torn Achilles. Why the fuck we doing that? And he already has a reputation for not coming up in big games, not showing up in big games. Why the fuck are we doing that? I said that then, that I didn't trust that then. I didn't like it. When they hired Raheem Morris instead of Bill Belichick or any of the other damn more qualified candidates, I said, why the fuck are we hiring Raheem Morris again? What the fuck? Because he's black? Are we listening to the streets now? Are we listening to the fans? Why did we do that? I said that then when Kirk Cousins was swagging and surfing or got crab walking, whatever the fuck it is he was doing. Why the fuck are y'all going on about this motherfucker, giving them nicknames like Kirko Chains and all this stupid fucking shit? I went down for none of that goofy shit when it was going down. But now everybody got jokes about Kirk Cousins doing the crab walk in the swag surf. Everybody's mad and in their feelings about how he's a culture vulture now. You're not being real. You're not being authentic. You're liars. Some of your followers. Some of you will hang on the word of somebody else so fucking hard that you don't even realize you're making yourself look like a complete fucking idiot. The contradiction is just fucking unbelievable. How contradicting a lot of you all are. Because if you looking at this football team and you're telling me we got Michael Penix Jr., he the future of this team. Did you see the plays he was making? Did you see the connection he had with Kyle Pitts? Did you see how he was able to do things? Or did you see the release? Did you see the processing? And then you look at the personnel. Drake London, we love him. Kyle Pitts, we believe in him. Bijan Robinson, he's one of the best in the league. Tyler Algier, man, he's a 1B. This is one of the best offensive lines in football. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you refuse to see what it really was, which was a middle of the pack defense. 15th in stopping the run, 15th on stopping the pass. They were not terrible. They just weren't really good. They weren't bad. They just weren't above average. They were average. They were average. If we go back and we think about some things, I want y'all to think about some things. For everybody that had an issue with the way we were playing defense before the bye week. Yeah, well, not before the bye week. Yeah, before the bye week. For everybody that has an issue with the way we were playing defense before the bye week, I want you to think about something. We wanted changes on the defense so we could generate more sacks. Well, you was getting turnovers. You was getting interceptions. You was getting fumble forces and recoveries because you were attacking the ball. The media and the fan base made it a big deal every fucking week. Made it a big deal every week. We ain't getting enough sacks. That's one of the indictments on Raheem Morris is you went and made those adjustments, but you kept saying that it was effective the way you were playing defense. I know the effectiveness that you're talking about is the attacking the ball so that you can better your chances at causing a turnover. I know that because I know fucking defense. I know that's what you were doing. Anybody else that plays, that knows defense, knows that that's what you were doing. Do you want to be able to generate better pressure and get more more contact on the quarterback? Absolutely. You absolutely do. So you did need to make an adjustment, but it wasn't a scheme adjustment that needed to be made. It was a personnel adjustment that needed to be made. not scheme. You were effective in your game plan, and you let the fan base and the media talk you into changing the scheme. And when you did that, you started giving up big plays and chunk yards, and that's when your downfall was cemented. Because if you make the changes that's necessary with the personnel and not the scheme before the bye week, then maybe you start to see more pressure generated on the quarterback. What personnel adjustments am I talking about? More Rucororo, more Dorless. Put Malone on edge at the edge more and give him more looks out there. Things of that. Those personnel adjustments might have gotten you over the top. Also, you set Contavious Street after the first 2 weeks. Why? He's a pocket mover. He moves the pocket. Him next to Eddie Goldman was working. You were pushing the pocket, and then you set him You set him after the first 2 weeks. Why? These are the indictments. These are the real indictments on Raheem Morris, not the bullshit that everybody else wants y'all to think. When we talking defense, I know fucking defense. You attacking the ball when you playing that far off. Now, you don't have to play 7 yards off the damn ball. You can play 4 to 5 yards off the ball and still attack the ball. So that too was an indictment on him and Jimmy Lake. But you don't have to play 7 yards off the ball. And I understood the scheme and the concept. But I digress. When you make those adjustments, they still don't work because you're getting the sacks. But now you're not turning the ball over. In fact, you're giving up chunk plays. So, I want y'all to think about that. Think about if the fan base and the media don't go spreading that bullshit about not getting enough sacks. If they don't do that and they continue to play the way they play and they just make the personnel adjustments, that Minnesota game don't look nothing like that. The way that Minnesota game turned out, it didn't have to look that way. They couldn't stop us on offense. If we could just make 2 more stops on defense, we win that football game. And don't turn the ball over on the damn kickoff return, by the way. But it didn't have to look that way. Yeah, thank you, Ray. I'm going to tell y'all something. We don't have a lot of time for the bullshit. We don't have time for counting our pennies. We don't have time for being all pissed off and in our feelings at one fucking player who's probably not even going to be here. A lot of us trust Terry Fontenot's ability to scout and recruit. If you trust his ability to scout and recruit, then you don't care about how much money somebody's getting paid. Because while the guy who's getting paid a lot of money to be really, really good at what the fuck he does, the scouts are bringing in the guys that are going to be solid at what they do. and can be developed into being the kind of guy that the guy that's getting the big money, they can be as good as him in the same on the same team in the same scheme. We don't care about how much money he gets. I'm sick of this shit with y'all. 60 years. And all this fan base can think of is to be mad at Kirk Cousins. What the fuck y'all thinking about, man? Is this just to have something to fucking talk about in the offseason? Who gives a fuck? Kirk Cousins want to play games with the media and with the team? Who cares? If your coach, if your owner and your coaching staff and your management staff, if they know how to flip that shit and make it work for them, which I believe the Falcons are doing, then it works in our favor that he's playing these games. What if Kirk Cousins is smart enough to manipulate another team into thinking that he really did just have a little boo-boo and he can still sling the fucking ball? What if that's the case? And we get something like a cool second or third out of it. What if we package them with some damn first, with some future draft picks and get back in the first and get us an additional first round pick along with the 15th? All y'all want to do is sit up and complain and bitch about Kirk Cousins. I don't give a fuck. I ain't got the energy to put into fucking Kirk Cousins. I don't have it. Why do you? T. Terry, what's happening? T. Terry say, what happened, Blakberry? What happened is this. And I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. What happened is this. Your boy Blakberry got some bad news today. I got to go spend some money I don't want to spend. But it happens in my line of work. But I'm pissed about it. And when I turned on the shit that takes my mind away from the real world shit, I see the same bullshit being talked about amongst the content creators. I see the same bullshit. We mad at Kirk Cousins. We don't like what he's doing. He shouldn't be doing that. Why is he being this way? He's a liar and he's fake. I don't give a fuck. My team has been 60 years. You're trying to tell me Kirk Cousins was hit all this for all the 60 years of failure? You trying to tell me for these last 60 fucking years that Kirk Cousins been in the background being a little hope, fucking up our dealings on our football team? I don't give a fuck about that bullshit. You want to be mad at somebody? Be mad at your fucking management that gave him the fucking deal. But like I said, y'all some liars. Because you care so fucking much, because you had hope in the team under Kirk Cousins' quarterback play that they were contenders. But you lied to protect yourself and make it seem like, well, when they fail, which is what we're accustomed to doing, I'll be able to say that I knew we weren't good enough. I knew we didn't have it all yet or what it took. You saw a 6-3 fucking football team that had you hoping. You saw a 6-3 football team that had you changing your fucking mind because it didn't look like we tripped and failed in the 6-3. You saw real contention at 6-3 under Kirk Cousins. So now you mad. You in your feelings because Kirk Cousins lied about being injured. If he would have lied about being injured and we still win two out of four of the goddamn games we went on a 4-game losing streak on, if we win 2 out of them 4, come back after the bye week and win 1 or 2 more games and solidify our spot in the playoffs, you wouldn't have gave a fuck about finding out that he lied about them injuries. You wouldn't have gave a damn. $60 years. 60 years. 60 years, and I got my contemporaries saying to me that, well, it's other teams ain't won before. I don't give a fuck about them. This is the ATL. This is Atlanta. Something we need for the Falcons and for the Hawks to do is to adapt some winning ways from the rest of the fucking city. My bad, that's my baby girl. I'm just sick of the fuck shit. Stop trying to protect your little feelings. Stop being afraid to stand on some shit and be and stand on an authentic opinion. I evaluate the talent. I evaluate the abilities. I see Drake London he's a top 10 receiver in this league. I see Darnell Mooney, who can be a damn good number 2 receiver on anybody football team, or one on maybe a few of them. I see a Ray McLeod, who a lot of people want to joan and crack on, calling them names and such, being mad that he was targeted more than other players, or being targeted too many times, but all he did was go out there and bust his ass and get open. What are we doing? What are we really fucking doing? We mad at a motherfucker producing 600, 700 some yards, receiving in this as the number 3 receiver. That's what we mad about. We mad about him having potentially being able to go over 1,000 yards as the number 3 receiver. We mad about that? Because Kyle Pitts ain't getting the targets that Ray McLeod getting. If it wasn't for Kyle Pitts, Ray don't get them targets because he don't get open without Kyle Pitts. I'm so sick of this loser mentality. That thinking that every single motherfucker out there got to either be taking some away from somebody or giving something up. Sometimes a motherfucker just do his fucking job and get the fuck open. That's what he did. Sometimes a motherfucker come up big on 3rd downs. That's what he did. I'm sick of the bullshit. AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, Mike Hughes. That's your core secondary. Let's just say that they properly use Caden Ellis this time around. You telling me he not a difference maker on a football team with the way he's able to generate pressures? You telling me that a healthy Troy Anderson with the ability to run sideline to sideline, a guy that's proven to take one of the best backs in this league out of the game in Alvin Kamara, you trying to tell me that a healthy Troy Anderson doesn't make a difference on this football team? And then if you go in this draft and you do what you need to do, you do the right thing and you fortify the interior of this defense with a Kendall Grant, with a Derek Harmon, with a Caldwell, with a Nolan. You telling me you don't get one of these really, really, really already league ready linebackers like Kyle Kennard? Like one of them, like that, the Georgia boy, Jalen, whatever his name is. All of them named Jalen these days. Jalen Walker. What about that boy Bossa, who you could get mid-draft? You telling me that when you see these boys play on film, that you can't determine what kind of player they can turn out to be for your franchise? You're afraid to stand on that shit. You rather go find a damn name that don't nobody talk about, give an evaluation on him, and hope that he turn out to be somebody that get recognized at some point for being some kind of above average athlete, just so you can say, I talked about him. I was the only one did. Just in case he don't. Ain't nobody gonna remember. I was the only person talking about him. That's fear. That's afraid to really stand on your shit. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. This football team, for everybody that keeps saying we ain't one player away. Nobody's one player away. It's about the situation. Are they a situation away? Are they a situation away? What's the situation? If we able to run the scheme we was running defensively last season with a better pass rush, the Atlanta Falcons probably find their way into a conference championship game last year. Just being able to get more contact on the quarterback. But everybody want to make it seem like, yeah, but it's deeper than that. We need this and we need that, and we got to get this, and we need a different coach, and we need him and to get his head out of his ass. Oh, and we need to save money here. Analysis, evaluation. Evaluate the situation. And you're way better off with your analysis. We was turning the ball over. Jesse Bates, Nate Landman. Jesse Bates and Nate Landman were leading the team. They were tied on the team with forcing fumbles. They were tied in forced fumbles on the team. But now everybody, Nate Landman ain't worth his goddamn. Nate Landman was doing what he was supposed to do until everybody was bitching about the defense not getting sacks. A lot of what the fuck done happened with this team in 2024, we want to keep pointing the finger at Raheem Morris. We want to keep pointing the fingers at Zach Robinson, Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts. We want to keep pointing the finger at all of these other things, but what about us as a fan base? What about us as content creators not being more responsible in what the fuck we do out here? We are more concerned with not being wrong about something than we are at giving a real evaluation of the situation that this team is in. It ain't just about money. Because if it was just about money, then your team would not have offered a quarterback a guaranteed $100 million. So clearly, it's not just about money. Clearly, it's about the situation. And the situation we were given our answer on draft night last offseason when they drafted Michael Penix with their first round pick. They told you what the situation is. But everybody wanted to try to make their own sense of it all. Well, they drafted Michael Penix because Kirk Cousins was Raheem Morris's idea. No. Kirk Cousins was Terry Fontenot's guy. That's why he needs to be fired. Terry Fontenot needs to be fired. You know why they call it a war room? Because a collective of minds come together to decide the best plan of attack. They all chose Michael Penix, not just one of them. They all came to terms that, excuse me, it's a good idea to give Kirk Cousins all that guaranteed money. Raheem Morris being shunned by the Atlanta fan base. Scalded. They want him to be exiled from the Atlanta city limits. Why? Because he gave you what you asked for. Am I to the understanding that we don't want Raheem Morris on this team anymore because we don't like the decisions he made in the first year of him being the head coach? We don't like that he didn't pull the trigger on Michael Penix sooner. Well, I thought we weren't good enough. What did it matter? We wasn't good enough, right? We wasn't a good enough team to compete. Or maybe you were lying so that you can protect your feelings. Maybe you like to divert the attention to other people and make them out to look like liars because you're protecting your feelings and trying to mask your own lies. It's our responsibility. We chose to do this, right? We chose to do this. We chose to turn on the camera. We chose to turn on a microphone, and we chose to give our opinion, and we chose to put ourselves in front of the world so that they can see an authentic version of us giving our opinion about something that we share with a multitude of people, and that's the Falcons. We chose to do that, right? So that means we gave ourselves that responsibility of telling the truth and really telling the truth. Not just having it in our mantra, but really telling the truth. It's we have a responsibility to this fan base to guide them into a light, not push them down a dark tunnel, continuing on with the same bull every single damn week. What are we doing to improve? Hmm? What are we doing? 60 years. 60 years the Falcons have been a franchise and ain't won a damn thing. But the 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 most talked about thing we can come up with that we want to talk about is complacency, passiveness, feelings. I don't understand. How does that get us ahead? How does it get us ahead trying to convince a fan base that we know what the fuck we talking about? Let that soak. How? How does that make us better? How are we getting better as content creators? If the only thing we can come up with is trying to convince the fan base that we know what we talking about. I got the information in front of me. I'm gonna give it to the fan base. I do an analysis. I'm gonna give it to the fan base. I'm gonna stand on what the fuck I say, no matter what happens, and not be afraid of being authentic. Woo. Let's go to the chat. Let me see what y'all talking about, man. Y'all been talking. Y'all been talking. Did I introduce y'all? I went on talking for an hour and 15 minutes. Deshaun Carswell in the building. He said, "What's up, Blakberry? PLAY. Play at your own risk. Yeek, get some." Hey, man, I love that old school shit from Deshaun Carswell, boy. Jay Holland, what's up with you, Jay Holland? He say, "What's good?" Jonte Rozier from Northern Nevada. I think I did. See, I was in another headspace. I was in another headspace when I came on earlier. See, I done taught my my emotions down now. I done talk down. I done talk myself down now. D. Coleman, what's up with you? Southside, what's up with you? Dre Murphy, the one and only. Larry, what's up with you, Larry? Southside, Georgia, Texas, boy. Who else, man? Who else done came up in here, man? D. Coleman, what's up with you, D. Coleman? Get off the rooftop, boy. Get off that rooftop. He said you got the cadence of pastor. I'm watching. What did it say? Intently. Well, I couldn't read that. I'm watching intently like this Bible study. You go, well, you know how to say the darndest things, don't you? Oh, man. Who else, man? Who else up in here, man? I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Bit Low in the building. What's up with you, Bit Low? What in the world, Bo? Country motherfucker. What's up with you, boy? Bit Low in the building. T. Terry in the building. What's up with you, T. Terry? Corey Gill 5 in the building. What's up, man? Dre Woods. What's up with you, Dre Woods, man? What's up with you? He say, I rewatched that Commanders game, and boy, D. Offer was hot garbage. Yeah. My boy D. Offer, he lost a step, man, in 2024. Almost a lot of it was him. Some of it was coaching, but a lot of it was him. And I can't even defend my boy. I want to, and I can't. It's on film. It's on tape. I can't defend him. I just can't. What y'all talking about? A blank? Oh no, y'all now come on now. That ain't right. A blanket party for him. Damn, y'all want to hurt the man? The man just trying to play football. He done got some money. Y'all want to do that to him? Damn. T. Terry, that was T. Terry. He said they need to have a blanket party on Kirk Cousins. Ooh-wee. Well, y'all mean business when y'all mean it. When y'all mean business, y'all mean business. Y'all want to have a blanket party on the man? Man. Anyway. I just want to know when y'all gonna be tired. I just want to know. 60 years. 60 years, and we complaining about how much money somebody getting. How about you just hope that the process, that the development plan works? If they want to pay 2 or 3 guys a shit ton of money, and they want to trust that they can develop the other guys into being solid role players, hope it works. Because maybe now, if the process goes as follows, you can rinse and repeat after 4 years, and you don't want your championship in your quarterback's rookie contract. Don't you think that that's important? Don't you think that's important? What y'all say? I seen Marvin Sapp name. What joke? Below Blakberry gonna be telling all the others to like Marvin Sapp. Hey man, Marvin Sapp told them, "Hey, close them doors." And then when I heard his response to people saying that he was what he did was wrong, he said, "Well, I didn't tell him to lock the doors." He said, "I didn't tell him to lock the doors." Listen, I know what he's saying. It's like before the end of church, everybody know the pastor say, "Open the doors of the church." I get it. What he was saying was, close the doors back. I'm finna ask these folks for some more money. I get it. He wasn't trying to tell people they can't leave. But that sure hell what it sounded like, Marvin Sapp. And I bet you a lot of folks wish they never would have made it to church that morning. I bet you that. I bet you a lot of folks wish they never would have made it to church that morning. And he said it went at his church. That's what he said. He said it went at his church. He said he was visiting a church. He was a guest speaker at another church, not his. So it wasn't his congregation he was holding hostage. It was somebody else's congregation. Leave him alone. It wasn't his congregation. It was somebody else's. It wasn't his. When are we gonna be tired, man? Accountability is something that's very, very tricky. Because while we want to hold a person at the top accountable, as we should, we sometimes miss the person that's over them. There's a person at the top, and then there's another person. Y'all know that? Y'all know that? There's a person at the top, and then there's another person. And I ain't talking about God. I ain't talking about the Father. That other person is the person that you choose to ignore because you don't think he's touchable anyway. He or she. You don't think that person's touchable. You don't think that person can get criticized because what's the point? It's not like he's going anywhere. It's not like there's somebody that can actually hold him or her accountable. I didn't start being a content creator because I felt like I needed to hold my team accountable, or because I need to hold others accountable for not talking about certain things. And I know that could sound contradictory to everything I've been saying on this live tonight, but that's not why I got into this. I got into this because I saw at the time, I saw a declining Matt Ryan before my eyes. And I was looking at my franchise. I was looking at the Falcons franchise, looking at Falcons management, looking at Arthur Blank, and I was asking, when y'all gonna pull the trigger on that? When y'all gonna decide that it's time to move on? Over 50 years as a franchise at that time is what I was thinking and what I was saying in my lives. Over 50 years, and we still holding on to motherfuckers, hoping that they can get out of whatever funk that they in, or hoping that they can climb themselves back over the cliff that they're falling off of. I was looking at my franchise and saying, when are you going to be tired of losing? When you going to be tired of being a laughing stock? I'm with Georgia, Texas, boy. Go on every content creator's platform, on every single live, and spam LIG. Let it go. LIG. Let it go. Spam that shit on everybody's shit, even mine's. LIG. Let it go. Let go of Grady Jarrett being released. Let it go. Let go of Kirk Cousins screwing the franchise. Let it go. Let go of Julio Jones screwing the franchise out of some money. Let it go. Let go of Thomas Dimitrov handing out a bunch of contracts to a bunch of guys for a bunch of losing. Let it go. And it really went a bunch of losing. 2 conference championships and a Super Bowl. It wasn't a bunch of losing. But let it go. LIG. Let it go. How about we talk about how we can improve? How about we talk about right now? How about we talk about 2025, not 2026 and 2027, 2028, 2029? How about we talk about what we are capable of doing right now? What is it possible that the Falcons can do from this point on to make themselves legit contenders in the NFC? How about we do that instead of complaining about a player doing what's best for him and not giving a fuck about the team that he's currently on? If he don't give a damn about the Falcons, if Kirk Cousins don't give a fuck about the Falcons, because he know that he ain't finna take another snap for the Falcons as long as the young buck is healthy, and he trying to get out of Atlanta so he can go play football, let that man do that shit while we worried about it. If we can get something like a second rounder, third rounder, get back in the first, get something for the man, by letting them get traded to Cleveland, letting them get traded to Tennessee, whatever the case is, that's what we ought to be talking about. Not crying about it. You doing more crying than he is. But narratives will be spun, narratives will be changed. Time will go on. And all we're left to do is wait. That's all we're left to do. Next week, I'm hoping to have a forum to have a discussion about something that's a little bit more serious than talking about the Falcons. I maybe not next week, but I'm working on getting a forum together, getting a panel together to have a discussion about something that I talked about a couple weeks ago about the Anthony Mackie interview that he had with the Pivot. In the comments he made about in his words, the American male being canceled out of American household these days. In the conversations that other podcasts had about it when they reacted to it, I think it's an important conversation to have. And for me, it's not about the American male, but it's about males, period. It's about men. And y'all stay tuned for that. Also, we brought back Fan Speak Mondays. So we got Fan Speak Mondays is back Monday afternoons. There's no set time for Fan Speak Mondays. It's going to happen sometime between 2 and 4 o'clock, sometime between there. So make sure you're looking out for Fan Speak Mondays. And of course, let's be clear on Wednesdays. And y'all make sure to stay tuned for all that. Also, there's going to be a relaunching of the website where you can get your home team apparel at hometeamfits.com. It's currently in rebuild phase. I went and got some professional hands put on it. We done had a couple mocks come back that I ain't felt it. But I think it's coming along. We almost getting to somewhere. And y'all stay tuned for the relaunch of hometeamfits.com. Also, go check your boy Blakberry out on Facebook. Yeah, go check me out on Facebook. You'll find me if you ain't already there. That being said, appreciate everybody coming through. Let me see what y'all talking about real quick. Don't leave. Don't leave. What were y'all talking about? Joe Test boy, he said, hey, Blakberry, what I've been saying, new era is here. Yeah. I honestly believe that Terry Fontenot done got his head out of his ass, at least for now. At least for now. And that he truly wants this team to embody that of an identity of what he has a vision of, which is a team that is not going to let you air raid them, and they will be stout up front. Offensively, Falcons teams have had great offenses. We can get the offense is there, as I've explained. They're the rook sitting in the corner, waiting on that pawn to move from in front of that king, and it'd be checkmate. It's not going anywhere. They're not moving. This offense ain't going nowhere. But it's best to win in your quarterback's rookie deal. The second year is the ideal year. Because year 3, you can win year 3, but guess what? Now it's time to pay them. You win year 2, you get another year out of them, you can possibly get your second championship, or you could contend really well. So you want to win now. And pretending that this team ain't good enough just because you don't like the head coach. It's cowardice. And it's a bunch of lies. Either that or it's a lot of some bitches doing this that's very narcissistic. And I'm leaning towards the latter. Us as a whole fan base franchise have been holding on to that Super Bowl. It's time to let it go. Yeah. Dre Murphy said, think I better let it go. Looks like another love TKO. Dre Murphy. Hey, and he said that was without sounding like AI too. That was good, boy. T-Terry say, let it go, Tyler Algier. He's going to Pittsburgh where he's happy. Well, y'all don't get Big Wheeler. He ain't. I'm trying to end this live. I'm not trying to do all that shit with Will. Y'all keep Will where the fuck he at. I don't need Will coming up in here. I'm not gonna let him in if he come. I'm not letting him in. I'm not doing it. I ain't doing it, man. I say, Blakberry, you start debating on your show like First Take, SAS debating against sports fans. Yeah, so speaking of that, we used to have a it's outside. Stop your shit, man. Don't do that. I'm finna end this shit. We had a segment called Bring It to the Pit before the other channel had got taken down by YouTube, which I'm still fighting to get back. But we did have a segment called Bring It to the Pit where you could come debate me, you could debate somebody in the chat, you could debate each other, you could debate another content creator. It's just before we bring that segment back, we got to get the viewing back up. We got to get the followers back up. We get the followers back up, get back to 500. We're going to bring it to the pit. Matter of fact, we ain't even got to get to 500. We get to 300. We get to 300 subs. I'll bring it to the pit. But right now, we just ain't got enough eyes on the channel yet. So once we get enough eyes on the channel, we'll bring it back. 300 subs. We get 300 subs. We'll bring it to the pit. Yeah, Southside, man. All right, so with that being said, this being your boy Blakberry Rex. This has been the Rex Pit. Y'all check us out next Thursday again, same place, same time. Coach Unchained. Well, look out for him to do his thing on Saturday morning for morning bird feed. I think he's doing his Friday show again, but we got to get Coach Unchained to 500 subs. If we got to give him the 500. I don't know if he there yet. I think last time I checked, he was at like 490. We got to get Coach Unchained to 500 subs before draft night. We got to do it. Let's do it. Go to Coach Unchained channel. Share his page out to your Facebook, X, wherever you do your thing at. And let's get Coach Unchained up to 500. With that being said, this been your boy Blakberry Rex. Catch me on the flip side. Home team. Uh-oh. What my outro video? There it is. Yeah, play. Catch me on the flip side.
Night ride on the trail.